We humans, it's something, isn't it? Capable of such breathtaking cruelty, inflicting just unimaginable suffering on each other.
Mm.
And yet you see these moments, this capacity for profound compassion, for a kindness that just shines through the absolute darkest times.
It's a fundamental tension.
Right. And that's really at the heart of Uncle Tom's Cabin by Harriet Beecher Stowe, isn't it? This incredible, powerful book looking at slavery's horrors, but also the resilience of the human spirit.
Absolutely. It forces you to confront that duality.
So today we want to explore some of the human behavior societal structures all through the lens of this really impactful book.
It's a text that still resonates, still sparks important conversations about who we are.
Definitely. And before we really jump in, you might want to check out Mindful Moments. That's our YouTube channel. It uses AI for book analysis, kind of designed to get you thinking critically about literature like this.
A great way to continue the reflection after our chat. Stowe gives us so much to work with, presenting this incredible range of human behavior.
She really does.
Yeah.
It makes you look hard at how oppression works, but also, where empathy and resistance manage to survive even in these brutal systems.
Exactly, even within the worst structures.
Let's maybe start with that spectrum, looking at the chilling side first, the commodification of people.
Haley is the prime example there.
Oh, absolutely. His whole view of enslaved people is just merchandise.
Mm-hmm.
It's jarring. He talks about separating mothers and children,
Yeah.
and then says, what was the quote?
Something like, always best to do the humane thing, sir. That's been my experience.
Right. Right after describing tearing families apart, the contradiction is just, wow.
It's a disturbing illustration of how economic motives can completely warp moral logic.
Mm-hmm.
He reframes this profound cruelty as just, good business.
Treating people purely as property, ignoring their suffering, their connections.
Exactly. It shows how systemic injustice develops its own language, a way to normalize the unthinkable.
But Stowe doesn't just leave us there. She contrasts that with these really potent moments of human feeling, right?
Hmm.
Like Mrs. Shelby.
Yes. The pressure she's under when her husband has to sell Eliza and Tom because of debts.
The book says she stood like one stricken. Such a simple phrase, but it captures so much, doesn't it? That agonizing internal conflict.
It does. She's part of the system, complicit in a way, but she's clearly not immune to the human cost. It shows that awareness, that tension between her feelings and what the system demands.
So even within the dominant group, empathy isn't totally erased, maybe suppressed, but there.
Precisely. It points to a kind of inherent flaw, perhaps in the structure of oppression itself. That underlying humanity is hard to completely extinguish.
And then you have Eliza's reaction, pure, fierce resistance.
Driven by that incredible maternal love, the thought of her son Harry being sold.
Her determination is just palpable. No, so may God help me, she says. That unwavering courage facing just immense danger.
It's such a powerful demonstration of that core human drive for freedom and the lengths someone will go to protect family. It's inherent dignity pushing back against dehumanization.
And she finds help, which is crucial, a Quaker settlement.
Yes, a real contrast, a community built on entirely different principles.
Principles of empathy, of active help, Rachel Halliday welcoming her, offering practical assistance. It's like stepping into another world compared to what Eliza fled.
It really illustrates an alternative social structure, one based on care and ethical action, not exploitation. It shows collective compassion actually making a difference, offering real refuge.
It's not just the organized groups either. There are these flashes of decency elsewhere. That drover, remember, in the Kentucky Tavern.
Ah, yes, the honest drover. He wasn't an abolitionist necessarily, but he saw the cruelty.
And he had this simple, pragmatic wisdom about it. Treat them like dogs, and you'll have dogs' works and dogs' actions. Treat them like men, and you'll have men's works.
It's significant because it comes from, an ordinary perspective, outside the main abolitionist argument. He links humane treatment to practical outcomes, not just high morals.
Like a basic understanding that respect is fundamental.
Exactly. It suggests a kind of universal truth about human needs, one that maybe transcends the specific social divisions of the time.
Then, of course, there's little Eva, Evangeline Sinclair.
She's almost a symbol of pure compassion, isn't she?
She really is. Her interactions, especially with Topsy, are so moving. She seems to just naturally see the inherent worth in people that others, even well-meaning ones, overlook.
That simple question she asked Topsy, poor Topsy, don't you know that Jesus loves all alike? It cuts right through the prejudice.
A radical idea in that context.
Absolutely. Eva's character may be a bit idealized, sure, but she functions as this moral compass, highlighting the potential for innate empathy even within a deeply unjust society. She challenges the whole basis of dehumanization.
And speaking of challenging prejudice, Miss Ophelia's journey is fascinating.
Definitely. She starts off quite prejudiced, reflecting the attitudes of her background.
But her relationship with Topsy, it changes her. Slowly. Painfully, almost.
There's that moment where she finally breaks through her own barriers. She says, "Topsy, you poor child, don't give up. I can love you."
It shows that growth is possible, right? That empathy can evolve.
I think that's crucial to the book's message, actually. Miss Ophelia shows that overcoming ingrained bias is possible, often through direct personal connection. Relationships can fundamentally shift our perspectives.
Which contrasts so sharply with those forced performances, like Jim having to dance and sing for Haley.
Oh yes, utterly dehumanizing, a spectacle demanded by the owner.
But even then, within the enslaved community itself, you see these quiet acts of real care. And Chloe's deep concern for Tom when he's sold away.
That contrast is key. It shows slavery trying to strip away humanity, but it also highlights the resilience of human bonds among the oppressed. They find ways to support each other, maintain dignity.
Acts of solidarity as a form of resistance.
Definitely. Maintaining emotional and spiritual strength in the face of constant degradation. It's vital.
And no one embodies that spiritual strength more than Tom himself.
Facing Legree's absolute brutality. His faith, his moral core, it's just unwavering.
Astonishingly so.
Yeah.
Even facing death, he refuses to compromise, refuses to inflict harm on others. No. Good never comes of wickedness. I'd sooner chop my right hand off.
It's powerful. He represents this profound resistance rooted not in violence, but in spiritual conviction. He refuses to be broken internally, even when his body is.
Maintaining his dignity against impossible odds, he becomes this incredible symbol of moral integrity.
And the enduring power of the human spirit, absolutely.
We should also mention George Harris. His drive is different, maybe more focused on earthly freedom.
Yes, his determination to escape, to achieve autonomy, fueled by his love for his family. He represents that fundamental human desire to be free, to direct one's own life, protect one's own.
The injustice of denying that liberty is so clear in his story.
It really underscores that yearning for self-determination and how love becomes this powerful motivator against oppression.
So, looking at all these threads, the cruelty, the resistance, the moments of connection, what kind of, positive ideas about change or hope does Stowe seem to be putting forward?
Well, it seems change can come from several places. There's the power of individual moral action, like the Quakers providing aid, or Eva's simple compassion influencing those around her.
Small acts making ripples.
Exactly. Then there's the potential for redemption, or at least growth, even in characters who start out flawed, like Miss Ophelia, that offers a kind of hope for wider societal change, maybe.
That people can change their minds and hearts.
Right. And underlying so much of the resistance is the strength of family love. It's a huge motivator for survival, for enduring hardship. Those fundamental human connections seem to be presented as anchors against the tide of injustice.
And faith, too. Tom's faith seems absolutely central to his ability to endure.
Oh, definitely. Faith provides that inner strength, that moral compass. It allows characters like Tom to resist dehumanization from within, to maintain their sense of self-worth, even when everything external is trying to crush it. It's a kind of spiritual freedom, perhaps, even within physical bondage.
A source of hope and resilience when things are truly dire.
Mm-hmm. And there are those glimpses of restoration, too, like George Harris eventually reuniting with his sister Emily.
Right, after all that darkness and separation.
It's a moment perhaps a bit sentimental for modern readers, but it underscores that enduring hope for connection, for healing after trauma. It reminds us that the need for family, for belonging, persists despite everything.
So this exploration, it really does pull out these profound insights, doesn't it? About our own nature, about injustice, but also about compassion, love, resistance.
It certainly compels you to think about the complexities, the contradictions within us all and within our societies.
And for more ways to dig into these ideas, especially through that AI analysis lens we mentioned, do check out Mindful Moments on our YouTube channel.
And of course, for more discussions like this one, exploring literature in depth, there's always our podcasts.
Right. These stories, like Uncle Tom's Cabin, they don't really let you go, do they? They keep challenging us.
They challenge us to look at our own capacities for cruelty, yes, but also for compassion, and to think about our place within the systems we live in now. The questions the book raises are still incredibly relevant.
They really are. So if this conversation sparked something for you, please consider subscribing to our YouTube channel and our podcasts. Share this discussion with others who might find it interesting.
And maybe even pick up the book itself. We'll put a link where you can find it. Engaging with the full text is always powerful.
Definitely. But most importantly, keep thinking critically about the complex issues literature brings up and how they connect to the world around us today.
That spectrum of humanity Stowe lays out, what does it really tell us about our ongoing struggles for justice and compassion?
Yeah, that's definitely something to keep considering.